here. Environmentalist, LGBTQIA icon, human rights activist, sometimes musician. I have some wonderful news. As she gets into position. I have a new album out, Glory Be to Mankind, and my song Yummy is on there. I'm gonna go to Apple Music immediately and see if it is there. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Every day I'm scrolling. No, not there. All right, well, it will be on Apple Music eventually, along with many other songs that I have. My single Man from Mars is out. Miss America Dream is out. Hello there, Seven. How are you? As you can tell, I just went overboard with the makeup today. I just felt like today was like a day to do makeup. My hair is just an utter horror, but what am I gonna do? I'm not a pop idol. I'm just a disabled American veteran who does music as a stress relief. Thank you. I appreciate that, Seven. So I have made a request of 11-bit studios because I'm in a video game. I am gonna try and pull this up. I wish I had a more functional connection when I try to use my PC for streaming, because then I'd be able to do a side-by-side comparison. You know, in the Bible, when Moses speaks to a burning bush, I think this is the bush that they were talking about. My hair is shrubbery right now. So weird. So weird. So I'm on the homepage. This Polish company, 11-bit Studios, made a game called The Altars. So I'm going to give a brief synopsis of what the game is. To survive on a lonely planet, Jan creates alternate versions of himself, the Altars. Each Altar's personality is shaped by Jan's various life paths. The Altars begs a simple question surrounding life-changing moments and decisions people make. So it's a whole thing about scientist goes to a planet is hostile, and has to create duplicates, clones, in order to solve the deficit of the facets of his own personality and shortcomings as skill sets. I am a scientist trying to go to Mars. And Jan, Ian, so close. One letter off, literally one letter off. And this whole thing about radiation and the day-night cycle that they have in this video game is really interesting, because the more exposure you have to radiation on this planet, the more you're going to have to compensate with a sleep schedule. And I hope that in this game, they had the presence of mind to say that if you're there for 30 to 90 day-night cycles, you're in a different season, or that there are seasons depending upon how long you've been on there. Because there are some planets whose periods are so long that it might take year, 2 years, 3 years, even more, to complete a full revolution. But planets of that level of, I guess, eccentricity usually do not support life and are extremely hostile. Hi there, Mr. Jones. How are you? Nice to see you. So, yeah, I wrote an email to 11-Bit Studios asking them to nominate someone from their company to come and speak to me because there's a lot of science in this. It's a science-based game. I'm talking about the fact that I'm in a video game. The Alters by 11-Bit Studios is an amazing game. It looks amazing. It's called The Alters by 11-Bit Studios. It's one of their newer games to come out. These are the same people who did This War of Mine, Children of Mortar. I had no idea, but I think I've kind of been in love with the company for a while, and it never occurred to me, hey, why don't you go to their website and see if they have anything new out? Because you gobble up everything else they do. But they decided to be ambitious, really, really ambitious. So I want to speak to them. I want to speak to them about the science that they have in this game. Because I have a new petition out, change.org/Jean Grey Tech. Now, this is an amazing petition that I thought of after previous conversations that I've had here on the podcast about reactive oxygen species. Basically, what happens when the human body is bombarded with either UV radiation or blue light. Oh, are you checking out the game right now? Games Metzkauf? And GTA 5 is a good game, but you might want to check out The Alters by 11-Bit Studios because I've requested to do an interview with them. So that would be extremely cool. But I have this new petition, change.org/Jean Grey Tech, and it's all about having some sort of hope, some sort of treatment plan for people who've been afflicted with DNA damage because of UV radiation and blue light exposure. I mean, we say to ourselves, oh, what would we do without our cell phones? You'd live longer. You'd live healthier. Every time you pick up a cell phone, you know what you're doing? You're irradiating your face. And I don't mean the kind of radiation that you get from uranium. I'm talking about the kind of radiation where you're exciting the molecules of your face, which is why when you hold it real close, you feel a little buzz, a little tingle on your skin. And you used to be able to do that when you had, before flat screens, for those of us who were before flat screens, but you used to hold your hand up to the television and you would feel a glow, an energy coming off of it. Not dissimilar to static energy, but it's something. And now with all the research that we're doing, I'm going to read what you said in just a second. With all the research that we're doing, blue light exposure is actually really, really bad for you because, yeah, you excite all the molecules that are on your face and, the rest of your body. But your body doesn't know how to process it. It eventually makes melanin and vitamin D and melatonin in response to UV radiation exciting the molecules. But before it could do that, it tries to get rid of it as quickly as possible. So what it will do is the chromophores the parts of your body that absorb light, they try to absorb it, but when they can't even absorb it, they start dumping it into the oxygen that is available throughout your body. When it does that, it creates several reactive oxygen species. Now, these oxygen species can range from slightly benign to just free radicals. Just super excited oxygen can just wreak havoc because it'll just oxidize the first thing that it comes in contact with. So if it comes in contact with your cell, your deoxyribonucleic acid is an acid, and acids love to be neutral. So what's it going to do? It's going to damage the DNA in order to rip the protons from that hydrogen in order to fill the valence shell. Along the way, it's going to knock out a couple of nucleotides. When it does that, it creates mutagenic effects. Some are fine, but others lead to things like mutagenic lesions. So skin cancer, brain lesions. There's all sorts of mayhem that these things create. So I made a petition to found the first genetic hospital. Because when there's a will, there's a way. So I would like to use low-grade X-ray spectronomy in order to detect some of the compounds that are clear indicators that your cell has been mutated. I also asked for yet another parcel of land in Antarctica in order to have an international free space for people to come in, be diagnosed, and then have a treatment plan. Hopefully, people will look in the description and see that I am trying to help you. But like I said, I'm a disabled American veteran, so if people don't want to take my advice, that's fine. That's why I'm going to Mars. Let me read this. Jetta League. Did you know that the ultra-microscopic power of time and space itself therefore makes a power of photosynthesis and everything possible at one point, therefore going through a Colorado explanation? I am a meandering fool when I speak. I am not that good at oration, and I don't really like having a camera on me. I'm a scientist. I'm a nerd. You know, I know my place in life. I am not cool whatsoever, and I don't like even discussing my own scientific advancement and achievement because I feel as if nobody wants to hear the truth, that nobody really cares when I talk about science that is affecting them. I mean, I could tell you till I'm blue in the face that, hey, that giant nuclear fusion explosion in the sky is giving you cancer. And people will be like, yeah, I still got to, you know, get to the office by 8 o'clock. They don't care. So I've at least done my civic duty, my humanitarian responsibility to at least make people aware of the fact that even things like your cell phones, your televisions, your computer screens, they do the same exact thing. They excite the molecules on your body, and then your body doesn't have anything that it can dissipate into, so it just dumps it into the oxygen, and the oxygen is ruining your DNA. I mean, we have the youngest 40-year-olds ever, but also the oldest teenagers ever. What I mean is people who are my age, they use technology, but they use a little less. They probably have a life. While people who are younger, they get the same information. They might be eating healthy, but a person who's 40 and is eating healthy and is using less technology is healthier than a young person who is not eating healthy and then also using technology, which is damaging their DNA, and they don't have any recovery plans from it. And I know that you might say to yourself, well, what are these recovery plans that you're talking about? Have you ever heard of antioxidants? It's this little checks and balances that nature has provided for us because we were always meant to be outdoor people. We were meant to have fur, but somehow that left. We were meant to have beards, and men were hairy, women were hairy, everybody was hairy. But now people pluck themselves like chickens ready for auction. So no skin protection whatsoever, and everyone wants to show off their face. Look how beautiful you are. Show off that face. But when you show off your face, you're showing off your face at peak UV hours. And I hope that this is indeed boring for people, because the more boring it is, the more scientific I will make it. But if you're a young person, you should know the facts. You should know that you have to ingest antioxidants in order to combine with those free radicals within you so you don't have DNA stress damage or just failure for your cells to divide properly. If it reaches that point where your cells don't even divide properly, it's because a cancer is metastasizing. So be aware and try and speak to your doctor often if you see any new spots or you don't feel well. See your doctor. Mention everything. So I will. So. I'm terrible at oration. I hate that. I've become so super shy, and just this PTSD from military sexual trauma, it affects me because I don't feel half as confident as I used to be. Not that I was a streamer before, but now I'm always in front of the camera and it just feels so unnatural. But I have to, because someone has to speak up about this giant addiction we have to technology, when technology should be helping us. But if it gives you cancer, it's not really helping you. If it ruins your reproductive success, it's not helping you. So here I am on YouTube discussing public health advisories without political office or a position or even an agenda. I just think you should know. You have a right to know. You have a right to completely live in ignorance. I just wouldn't choose to live that way. But that's just me. All right, well, I thought that I would get on here and say that so people would know. Thank you, everyone. I will keep you up to date of any changes. My name is IanXIlyana, and this is I Hate LA. Love me anyway.